All right, hey guys, how's it going? Broken here. I'm a little sick right now, so just excuse that. I might sound a little nasally. But yeah, I wanted to make this video real quick for you guys to throw some information out there, right? I think I figured out why the system is dev erroring and crashing and why everyone's going through these issues right now. So as you guys know, Call of Duty they make shit updates, and basically, we can never count on anything to work smoothly at all. And to add on to the salt on the wound, Nvidia is dog shit, just as bad, So being that being said, we can really expect nothing to work properly at all. I don't put the blame entirely on Call of Duty, and I don't put the blame entirely on Nvidia. Um, but they both have a part in this for sure. Um, you might say, oh, well, my game was working perfectly fine before the Verdansk update. It's maybe true, but as well, Nvidia has um, come out with the new 50 series since the new quote unquote Warzone has dropped. And that being said, they've come out with a whole line of drivers. You guys might not be familiar with them because you have maybe an older card, but we've been updating the new 50 series cards back to back. They have been releasing fixes and hot fixes for these cards because they've been shit because of the drivers, not because of the GPUs, but because of the drivers itself. Some of them because of the GPUs, but you know what I mean. So that being said, yeah, they're both having a hard time right now. So let me just kind of speed this up a little bit. I want to do this all in one take, and I don't really want to make a edit this video at all. I just want to put this information out there. Maybe it'll help you guys. I think it actually will help you guys. Okay, because the few people that I have told about this, it's worked for them, and they're playing normally as long as they kind of do what I said. Okay. Um, there are videos out there of people, deleting config files. Now, the config files that you guys have been doing with like Isaac has, um, you know, definitely been great. Don't get me wrong. I love Isaac. He's doing, some wonderful things for the Call of Duty community. But just messing with the config files right now, I don't think it's the way to go. Um, I don't think that's the sole reason of the issue, but we have found that if you delete the whole config file, the game still populates what you need to, and it runs a little better actually. That's based off of what we've been seeing lately. Okay, and it's just a group of guys. Maybe it might be different for everybody, right? I've used Isaac's and a few other people's config file settings, in the past, and they've worked wonderful, wonderful situations, right? So, not saying anything against that, but what I am saying, maybe you might want to leave those config files alone just for right now until things get a little better. If you are running them, fine. I'm actually running it right now. I will be honest, I'm running it right now, and I'm not having any issues. But it is working for some people and not working for others. So just keep that in mind. Apart from that, right? What I found is the game doesn't like to be overclocked at all. Now you might be like, oh, well, I never overclocked my GPU, so I'm not going to watch this video. Well, if you have the issues, you're gonna want to sit through this and just watch it real quick. I'm not gonna be long. Again, I'm gonna try to make this, in one take so that I don't have to edit this because I don't want to edit this, and I'm actually not. So you might hear me messed up. Okay, fine. So here we go. What I noticed is that the game doesn't like an overclocked GPU. Now I will say this: I bought my Astro 5080 about maybe 3 weeks ago. I sat in my chair and overclocked it for probably a good 16 to 20 hours, just straight overclocking, running stress tests, maybe even longer. I got it down to where I overclocked the shit out of it, and it was running better than the 4090. I know you guys will be like, oh no, no way. No, it really was. I was getting better scores than a stock 4090 on all my benchmarks, and I ran it for 3 hours stress test. It was running perfect. So it was working phenomenal. Now that being said, um, since it was running that great, I was like, all right, let me hop in Call of Duty and see what's going on. So my first game, I crashed immediately, and I was like, what the fuck? I've been stress testing for 3 hours on other programs that run my GPU, my CPU, and my RAM harder than this game. I'm like, what the fuck's going on, right? So I was like, all right, let me. I made a few profiles for my overclock, and I was like, all right, let me drop it down to another one that I know was a little more stable. I ran it for 3 hours, which is stable enough, but let me drop it down a little lower. So I dropped it down a little lower. Boom, crashed again. So I was all right. Let me drop it down a little lower. Boom, crashed again. 45 minutes later. I actually got to play a few games. 45 minutes later, it crashed. I was like, all right. So I know with the longevity of me playing, the lower I drop it, the more I'm able to play, right? So it got down to a point where I was like, all right, let me put this thing in default and see what's happened. So I put it in default, and it worked a lot better. Uh, so I stopped crashing. No, I think I did crash, but it was like every so often. So what I found was, with that conclusion was the system doesn't like to be overclocked, and we may even need to underclock it. And I asked myself, why would the system need to be underclocked to run? Now, again, NVIDIA drivers, they're all dog shit. So, I don't know if it's NVIDIA or Call of Duty, but maybe, this video can help them fix the issue. Maybe, somebody in Call of Duty will watch this video, or maybe, somebody in NVIDIA will watch this video and kind of, work something out. That'd be nice, but, we can't count on them for anything, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to try to fix this ourselves. So, you need to underclock your GPU. I'm just gonna put it that way. Okay. Now you might be like, okay, yeah, I never overclocked my GPU, but listen, on the box that you bought your GPU, you might even be able to see it in the settings. It might say OC on it, or if you have a variant of that card that you have, Super TI, something like that. That's an overclocked version of that card. Okay. So that being said, if you're crashing, you need to lower that megahertz, lower that power, and you will see your game to stop crashing. Listen, 4 people already have tried it, and they have not crashed at all. And if they're now, don't get me wrong, the game is still shit. Okay, so like we've been experiencing some freezing. Or like the or disconnecting in the lobbies. That's not the same as the game kicking you out with a dev error. We all know the difference between getting kicked out of a lobby and the game freezing entirely, and you gotta turn your computer off or something like that, right? There's different crashes that we've been experiencing right now, and we can all tell the difference. Yeah, it's still crashing, but it's not the same thing. It's not because of this. So this is to solve the dev error issue. This is to solve the issue with you just getting kicked out the game and having that white screen kick up, and it says send or whatever. You wants you to write a message or whatever, right? So that is for that. Um, they don't have a fix for the other thing. That's strictly Call of Duty. That's strictly Call of Duty when you're getting disconnected from the servers and whatnot. So I've even heard of hackers being able to kick you out of lobbies. So I don't know how true that is, but that's very possible. So maybe that's part of it. But with that being said, okay, so what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to underclock your GPU. Okay. Now if we go into the graphic settings here, um, basically the NVIDIA Reflex low latency, right, ARM plus boost here. This is where I have the biggest issue with. Now, I have mine on R plus boost. If your system is working fine, right? I'm gonna say this: my system is working fine on ARM plus boost and default settings. No overclock, right? Now, I think this is more for the newer cards. I think if you have a newer card, you're not gonna have this issue. My 3070 Strix, which I just swapped out, a couple weeks ago, was having this issue. It was crashing over and over and over, and I was having the dev errors. I was having everything, and I had to underclock it. This one I have not had to underclock it. Okay, but everyone that doesn't have a brand new card, if my friend has a 4080 Super, I believe, and that card he's crashing. he crashes. So we had to underclock it. So basically what we had to do is I told him either turn this on off or on. Let's get rid of that boost that it's allowing, the GPU to have higher clocks, and let's turn that off. So turn it off or turn it on, and that's it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys about this. So we want to download GPU Tweak. All right. So GPU Tweak. What's up, Isaac? I was just trying to find his config files in case you guys wanted to delete those and go through that mess. But honestly, I'm gonna say stay away from that. If you wanted to delete your config files, you can. If you delete the config file, I don't know if I said this already, but again, we've been finding that it kind of does stabilize a little better. You know, I don't 100% believe that, but it definitely does seem like it helps. All right, I'll say that. All right, so you're gonna download GPU Tweak, right? Um, and GPU Tweak is going to take you to an ASUS website, right? ASUS is a very known, company. They do all your computer parts and whatnot. Okay, this is a great GPU Tweak. Now you can use MSI Afterburner if you're familiar with that. I think this is a lot more simple to use for most people. Okay, so this is the one I'm directing everybody to. I do have an MSI Afterburner. I'm not using it. Okay, this is a lot more simple. I feel like you can't really burn your shit out if you're using GPU Tweak, honestly. But I don't know. So anyway, you're gonna go down. You're gonna press download. It's gonna scoot you down the page. You're gonna download the latest version right here. Okay, press download. It's gonna pop up wherever your downloads are, and then you just install it, and then bam. Okay, it comes up with this right here. Okay, so basically, what we want to do is put this back in default so you guys can see what's kind of going on here. Okay, again, I have the 50, okay, Astral. Okay, that's what I have. So what you want to do is you want to drop this power down to about 90, right? 90 or 95. That's going to just allow the power to kind of not overcurrent itself, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, drop this down to 10. And then your memory clock and your boost clock is really what is going to affect the system from crashing. Okay. Now, I have tried out a few. Every card is going to be different. Every card, there's tons of cards out there. Every card is going to be different. You're going to kind of have to play around with this. Maybe somebody in the messages down low or the comments down low can kind of help out with what you should be underclocking these with. Now when you're overclocking, you're kind of raising it, testing, raising it, testing, raising it, testing, and seeing where stability lies. Right? That's what we do when we overclock. So when you're underclocking, you can kind of do the same thing, but I feel like it's a lot more forgiving, right? So what I like to do is I like to drop this down, maybe 500, right? Now you're gonna be like, oh, well, I paid for this card, I should be able to utilize it. Yeah, well, if you want to play the game without crashing, you're gonna have to do this for the time being. Okay. So what I would do to start off for most people is I would drop that memory clock 500, and I would drop the boost clock down to maybe 200. Okay, maybe even 150 if you want to try 150. Start there. Your fan speed, if your GPU is getting really hot, guys, and you don't know why it's just happening. What I would do is I would raise this. Okay, I used to play with my 3070 Strix on 100%. It used to sound like an airplane. But hey, I have a headset on, so like, what's the deal, right? I would ramp this bad boy up 3,000 RPMs, or whatever. My temperatures would be running at like 35 degrees Celsius for while I'm playing games. So like that's all good with me. I don't really care. I have a headset on, so you can put this on 50 if you wanted to, and cool, you know. Let it run at 50% while you're playing the game. Like, get those cooler temperatures. Sometimes it'll help your system run a lot better. A lot of people have overheating issues. They don't have big enough coolers. So let that thing run to 50%. If you don't feel like messing with that, if you don't feel like hearing your fans, put it at all auto and call it a day. That's it. Put it at auto, call it a day. I don't know why 33 and 0, but yeah, cool. And it's gonna regulate as it needs to. Okay. As it's calling for demand for the game, it's going to go up and down. I think on auto, I've seen it go to about 50%, something like that, 60% maybe. But usually I think it sticks around this 33%. So yeah, so do this, give this a shot, and let me know. I really believe this is going to solve the majority of everybody's issues. Again, I'm not blaming Call of Duty. I'm not blaming Nvidia. I just know that they're both really shitty right now. Drivers for Nvidia are dog shit. Updates for Call of Duty are dog shit. We shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to underclock our systems in order for the game to work properly. So again, what I'm going to say is do exactly what I just showed you there, right? And then once you're done all that bullshit, come in here, restart your shaders, open the game, close the game, open it back up, um, let it launch, and don't touch your game until it is done. It is done loading those shaders. Please don't go into the next menu. Just don't touch it. Let it rock. Let it load all the way. Once you're done that, then you can go try a game. See if that works for you. It has worked for several people. I'm not saying this is going to work for everyone. I just know that the few people that I've tried to that had issues, this worked for them. And I sat there for 15 hours trying to figure out something to do, and this worked. It really worked. So just give it a shot. What do you have to lose, right? Don't fry your shit. Don't come over here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna boost the power to," like I don't even think you can do this. Like if I do this right now and I press apply, it's gonna crash my shit. Like no, So why am I gonna do that? I'm not gonna press apply. Okay, default mode. If once you're done, you don't want to do this, press default mode, go into programs, whatever program, add remove programs, okay? Find GPU tweak wherever the fuck is that right here. Right click, uninstall. That's it. Like it never happened, okay? Um but that's such a useful tool to have in your pocket just in case you ever need a little extra FPS. You can come in here. Hold on. You can come in here. Press the OC. It gives you a little boost. Cool, awesome. It gives you a little boost. And then you can come in here and you can start trying some shit. This is what I came up with right here. Yeah. So like I have a few different overclock settings that I was using in here, and these worked great. So I was testing Warzone for hours. I'm telling you, man. So this is what I came up with. So give it a shot. See how you guys see how you guys are gonna do with this. All right. Let me see. Do I have anything else to add to this? Okay. And what I'll do? Did I change anything here? Put this on. Yeah. So arm plus boost. Okay. So this is my settings, right? Um, I'm trying these settings for the first time. I wouldn't say that you should run these exact settings because I haven't even run these exact settings yet. But I will say this, right? So, uh, upscaling, sharpening this cast strength, bro. Put that at 100. A lot of guys are playing at 50 and 60. Put this thing at 100, brother. I'm telling you, it's gonna look so good. It's gonna look so good. Um, Put this thing at 100. The variable rate shading, have this on. Okay. Scale target. It's very, very, very different for most people. Right now, I like it around like 90, I believe. I'm trying it at 80 right now. Seeing if it'll help anything right now. I'm just experimenting, but I tried it at 90. A lot of people have it at 80 and have a lot of success with this. So go ahead and flip that to 80. These are the settings that I'm running right now. I'll run through them: normal, ultra, off, normal, very low, on, off, low, optimized. This is for like if you have good internet, and a good computer, you might want to run it optimized. Normal, normal, off, 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 low. Oh, this one right here I'm trying out. Okay. I would probably run this on off. I'm just gonna give this a shot for today, see how I like it. Um, again, I'm not, some computer guru. I'm just somebody that has been trying stuff and making stuff work, right? So, it has been working. Okay, so maybe that's somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, knows what they're doing, can even expound on this a lot more than I have. But maybe this will open up a window for a fix for everybody, all right? Because I've sat down and I put some work into this, so I will say that, all right. So low, off, 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 okay, And then I have all this bullshit. I play on independent because I'm blind, so that little zoom in kind of helps me. Um, so yeah, and I play on boardless. You know what's interesting? When I put it on full screen exclusive, I feel like it's like grainy. I don't know if that's just me, but like it feels grainy and a little sluggish, or like this game feels different. So I don't know if that's something that's wrong with my computer or whatnot, but like I don't really don't like it. Um, yeah, and I'm playing on 1440p, so I don't know why the fuck it's on that either. But yeah, I don't even play on the setting anyway. So yeah, so I'm gonna go back to boardless. That's what I like. So again, once you're done, restart shaders, and then run it like that. I'm gonna try this out right here. Running with my settings that I just changed up a little bit, but like the stuff that I told you just a second ago, that's like Bible, okay? Like you want to run that just like that, okay? And you will see good results as far as like clarity and smoothness, and you can really just kind of not crash and play the game normally. One other thing I want to touch on, so like I have the 5080, I have a 9800 X3D, and the frame generation, I gotta be honest, it works great. So like I've tried it, and bro, I've gotten like upwards of like 460 FPS on this 5080, and like there's not a delay. Like I'd still drop 20 something kills with this on, so like I don't know how much of a delay people are talking about, but like I wouldn't blame, the people are like, oh, you're getting a huge delay, you're not gonna be able to play the game, it's gonna be choppy. No, bro, it ran really smooth, really really smooth. So, and some people were like, oh, so if you have this on, you're going to run, half the frames you actually run. So that's not true at all either, because I'm getting, with this off, I'm getting somewhere between like 300 to 360 normally, and that's on a 1440p 365 hertz monitor. So I'm getting 300 to 360 roughly, in really good areas. My low is like 300. And with this ARN again, I'm getting 460. So if I'm getting half of that, I'm getting low 200s, mid 200s. That's not factual at all. You say I'm getting 230, 225, regularly. It's not true. It's giving me about I would say like 100 FPS boost on the frame generation, which is pretty interesting. So I even thought about running this on DLSS, but like I feel like the fidelity cast definitely ran a little better. So I'm gonna keep it at that. I was experimenting with all of them, and I really like the cast a lot more, and especially at 100. That's what made me want to switch. When it was at 70, it was a lot more like on the fence. 60 and 70 was a lot more on the fence, but once I put that up to 100, I was like, okay, this is the way to go. So that's what I like. That's what I've been doing. So I'm sorry, this video's a little long. Again, I don't want to make any what's it called? I don't want to redo this video, or like you know um, throw anything out there that like it's edited. I don't really care for it. I'm just throwing this out there just kind of help you guys out, and hopefully you guys can use this and make everything work, and you guys can have fun on this game. Game is really fun. I feel like it's in an okay state. I just think that they need to fix these bugs and get on top of them. Like the plate bugs annoying, stuff like that's really annoying. I'm not getting shadow banned no more, which is beautiful. So shadow bans have been gone. I used to get shadow banned, every other day, so I'm pretty happy now. But yeah. If you guys, if this helps you guys, put a comment down below. I'm gonna be, answering some stuff on what I can help you with if I can. If I have some time. I have my own business and stuff, so like, I definitely have a lot of time on my hands. But if I see your comment, I'm able to help you a little bit, I will. No issues. Now, don't come in my comment section all pissed off about, oh, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're gonna say. You can't really hurt your fucking GPU underclocking it, so don't blame that shit on me. Try it at your own risk as well, but like, underclocking is not gonna cause anything to fail. It's gonna cause it to run not as strong and not as powerful, and it's gonna downgrade it a little bit. You might even get a little more FPS for some people that are overheating and that have heat issues. If you underclock your stuff, look it up. Just look it up. Tell me what you think about it. If you underclock your stuff, a lot of times you'll even get more FPS. I underclocked this 5080, and I was actually getting around the same FPS. So like I didn't really see a need for underclocking, honestly. Everything's running very well on default everything for this card, which is phenomenal. But for other cards that have the OC and that aren't the newest stuff, I think there's driver issues, and I really believe it's on Nvidia's side rather than Call of Duty's. So that being said though, like, comment, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.